So listen, just 30 minutes, we'll be together in this easygoing way to kind of, let's see what we'll even do. I'm not sure. I think we'll do a couple of different things today. But always it's really good to set us in the right direction. So we have a little, as we know, the Tibetans would say, set our motivation. We can just say, put our mind in the right direction, thinking we're going to use this 30 minutes to steady the mind, clarify the mind, and which eventually helps us become familiar with our mind, which of course in our day-to-day life is what we need to do, to become super familiar with what is going on inside here so we can start to be in charge of it. That's the whole idea, So because of that, there are lots of types of meditations, lots of meditations. So the first one, though, even though the body doesn't meditate, the mind does. It's we'll get the body in the right position. But first, we think we're going to do this 30 minutes just so we can, develop some skills to be familiar with our mind, so we can eventually develop the skill to become in charge of our mind, so we can turn ourselves into this. The Buddha's view is we've got this marvelous potential to lessen our neuroses and grow our goodness for our sake and the sake of others. Thinking, let's get some tools for that. So check our bodies. This is all coming from the great yogis and yoginis from thousands of years, or several hundred years, couple of thousand years. They found this to be most conducive for the mind to do its job. So there's about 8 different things we might be familiar. So just check it out, The ideal scenario for the serious meditators is, as we all know, is what they call full lotus position, each leg on the other thigh. If we can do that, the body can be very stable. But if not that, regular cross-legged, and if not that, in a chair. But if we're in a chair, make sure you don't slump into the back of the chair, okay? Kind of hold up your own body, hold it up upright. That's important. And it means you have your feet firmly planted on the ground. And it's not good to have such a comfortable chair because you're just going to fall asleep. It's, because one of the key things about meditation is not a relaxation technique. It's quite specific, it's to help focus the mind, to help sharpen the mind, to help steady the mind. So have your feet firmly planted on the ground, your body upright. Then the hands, there's this classic position that they call this mudra or gesture, your hands resting in your lap, left underneath, right on top, and the thumbs kind of touching each other, forming a triangle. That's the second thing. So your legs, your back is the third one, the hands. Then your shoulders, but your whole body actually, it's really important. If we sit upright, we will tense the muscles. So if we relax and we flop the muscles. So the thing is, keep your body upright, but relax the muscles at the same time. Have a nice combination of kind of body upright, but relaxed. The structure upright, your skeleton upright, but the muscles relaxed. So now your head, several things, all the great meditators, as I said, have found quite useful. Having your jaw, your head should be slightly tilted forward, chin tucked in a bit. And then your lips slightly apart and the tip of the tongue resting just beneath the palate, behind the back teeth, the front and the top teeth. And this, curiously, as I say, this is curious because the meditators have found that if you're meditating seriously every day, it prevents you from dribbling. It prevents you from swallowing your spit all the time. So it's very practical. So put your tongue up there if you like, behind your top teeth, just near the palate, your lips slightly apart, jaw relaxed, head slightly tilted forward. And then finally, your eyes looking, have your eyes lightly closed, but have your eyes looking down beneath your eyelids, as if you're looking along your nose towards the ground. This is the position. So to settle into this now, your bottom, your legs, your back, your shoulders, your hands, the head, the chin, the eyes, the tongue. Just settle into this now. So first we'll do this meditation that some of you are familiar with. It's called the 9-round breathing meditation. Very practical. It's often done as a preliminary practice before doing other practices. This is very typical in Tibetan. So it's using the breath, but it's also a nice little visualization. It's using your mind as well. You're imagining. So as we know, Buddha talks about the three main kind of neurotic states of mind that drive us: attachment, aversion, or anger, and then kind of this kind of like a deep ignorance, like an indifference. Have attachment, all the mind's all overexcited, and then the mind when it's kind of aversion, and that could be annoyed, irritated, frustrated, upset, or even depressed, all the aspect of aversion or anger. So attachment, anger. And this third one is kind of like a dullness, an indifference, I couldn't care less, kind of like a bored kind of state of mind. These three problems, these three poisons, Buddha calls them. So as we know, the attachment is like this, it's this emotional hunger, always wanting something more, never satisfied. It can be very agitated, never content, no matter what we get, no matter what we achieve, no matter what we do, we somehow feel it's never enough. This is really like our main disease. It's totally common to the world, This is really what's called attachment. So imagine, the breathing, the first three breaths, you've got to visualize coming out through your left nostril. When you breathe out, all this attachment energy, this emotional hunger, this dissatisfaction, you're imagining it leaving like yucky smoke, disappearing into space. So you breathe, good, complete, full breaths, and you visualize it all coming in through your right first, of course, and then out through the left. So out through the left is all the attachment energy, 3 times. And then when you breathe in, breathe out the second 3, you visualize all the anger, aversion, irritation, annoyed, upset, even depression energy, all these aspects of aversion, leaving through your right nostril like yucky smoke, disappearing into space, not one atom left. And the third 3, obviously through both, visualizing through both nostrils, this yucky smoke, all this indifference, uncaring, like an ignorance kind of energy, indifference, uncaring. So now you can add to this, when you breathe in blissful white light from the universe, all the opposite energy from all the Buddhas, all the holy beings, all the spiritual practitioners, their energy in the universe. And it's your own potential. You breathe in this radiant white light in the other nostril, breathing in all the goodness in, and that drives out all the yuck. So it like circles around in your body. You breathe in the white light, out the yucky smoke, in the white light, out the yucky smoke. So breathing out 3 times through the left is attachment. Breathing out 3 times through the right is aversion or anger. And breathing out 3 times through both is this ignorance, indifference energy. So you just do it at your own pace, And if you lose track, just start again. Full, complete breaths, in and out, but not forced, not loud. And do it at your own pace. A couple of times, these rounds of these 9. So relax now. Just kind of, open your eyes, adjust your body, and then get settled again. And we'll do another type of meditation. Just give yourself a minute or so. The lamas do this one before and they talk about how, when you're a bit more aware, you really notice the difference in the wind energies, this prana they talk about, and the relationship between our mind and the wind energies. Somehow this helps settle that. And then adding that visualization, because these states of mind, as they talk about in this model of the mind, they're linked to these wind energies. It helps both steady the mind and the body. So it's quite helpful. So now let's just do a concentration technique. As we know, there are many ways of doing this, and that's the basic technique that Buddha taught as a starting point, and there's many things we can visualize as a focal point, but the one that's always the simplest is the breath again. Let's just use the breath again. So we've got about 15 minutes, but what I want to do is like maybe three sessions of about 7 minutes, or 3 sessions of 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes, 5, 10, 15, maybe 3 sessions of 4 minutes. And that's really worthwhile, because sometimes when we sit down and close our eyes and we think we're meditating, but 90% of the time we're just spacing out. And that's why this is not technically a concentration meditation. Concentration is marvelous. We need it. And you can space out. That's wonderful. But this is this meditation, as we know, is to train. We're training our mind to stay focused. And that's about exactly what it never wants to do. So it takes quite a lot of mental effort to do it properly. So doing 4 minutes quality is far better than just sitting there spacing out for 20 minutes thinking you had a nice meditation, because it really, so let's just explain it again. Often we misunderstand this technique. I'll explain exactly the job you're trying to do. So the goal of this, of course, is concentration. Well, don't hold your breath. It could take a couple of lifetimes, not mention a couple of, 20, 30 years to really get to the subtlety that Buddhism would describe that we're capable of. So that's the goal, but never mind that. So now the thing is this: we know the mind never stops. The thoughts never stop. They're uncontrolled. We know that. So the key thing we're not trying to accomplish in this meditation, because you'd always be disappointed initially, is you're not trying to stop the thoughts. You'll go crazy trying to stop the thoughts. It's like you're in a room of 200 people all shouting, trying to get them to be quiet. They won't be quiet. So one of the key things is the goal is not to make the thoughts go away. And if you use that as a criterion of your success, you'll always be a bit of failure. So that's not the job you're trying to do. 1 point. 2, you're not trying to relax. You need to be relatively relaxed, but you've got to be alert. Like you would on the freeway at 60, 80 miles an hour, you need to relax, but oh my goodness, if you relax completely, you'll kill yourself. You've got to have a sharp mind as well as kind of, relaxed, a combination. So the goal isn't to relax. The goal isn't to make the thoughts go away. The goal isn't to have some kind of visions. I mean, all these fantasy nonsense we talk about. It's a really skillful, practical, down-to-earth technique. It's like a training. So essentially, we're training our mind to stay focused on one thing. Of course, it doesn't want to. So don't pretend it will. But that's the training you're doing. Like you're trying to ride a bike. And if you've never ridden a bike, you get on one side and you're going to fall off the next minute. So what do? You get up and sit back on the bike again, and you'll fall off again. So you pick yourself up and you get back on the bike again. That's it here. So there's 2 parts of our mind involved. One is simply called attention. You're going to pay attention. And the thing you're going to pay attention to is the sensation of the air at your nostrils. That's the object of focus. So you're going to pay attention. But think of it as this, as another part of your mind, like sort of like the mother watching the child. The child is the attention all over the place. And the other one's called mindfulness, which is a part of your mind that as soon as it catches the attention wandering off, mindfulness will bring it back to the breath. So you mightn't recognize a part called attachment, attention. You mightn't recognize a part called mindfulness, but we label them 2 different parts of the mind. So attention is watching the breath. Mindfulness is watching attention and bringing it back to the breath when it rushes off. That's the job you're trying to do, okay? So with determination now, get your body comfy. And you locate that sensation of the air as you breathe in and out, natural breaths. And you're going to, with determination, for 4 quality minutes, maybe 3 this time, you're going to simply pay attention to the air going in and the air going out. In the corner of your mind, of course, you're going to notice the thoughts, but you don't have your mind go to them. You don't force them away. You let them come and you let them go. Stay focused on the breath. That's the job. Keep the attention sharp, just on the breath. Stay alert. Don't space out. Just pay attention to the breath. So just relax for a minute. That was about 4 or 5 minutes, actually. So relax for about a minute. Open your eyes, wriggle your body, and then get yourself focused again. And we'll do another 4-minute session. Because we can see it's so easy to space out. It's so easy to sink into this feeling of comfort, you know, it's very, very seductive. And that's exactly what we don't want to happen. Because it's like on the freeway, you cannot afford to lose concentration for 1 second. And it's a really good example. You're trying to get the mind to stay alert and sharp and clear. So to settle in again, check your body, the back, your legs, your hands, shoulders, neck, jaw, eyes. Just settle into the position again. And with strong determination, because you need that, you know, determined, I'm going to watch the breath. That's it. Let the thoughts come, let the thoughts go. Have no opinion about them. Don't have aversion to them. Don't wish they weren't there. Simply pay attention to that breath with determination. Keep the mind sharp and alert. Just bring your mind back to the breath. Just adjust it. Just watch the breath. Okay, relax again. That's it, people. Gone like a dream. Our 30 minutes. Well, 28. So just to remind us, we're going to do it on our own. Lots of us like to do this meditation. It's super important to get precisely clear what it is not. Again, it's not, I mean, you might relax, but if you can relax and be sharp, that's a pretty good combination. If you can do that, marvelous. So the main job is we're training our mind to stay focused on one thing. So obviously, why do you want to do that from the Buddhist perspective? So we can start to, really in our daily life, not to mention anything else, start to use this clarity to notice what the earth is going on between our ears 24 hours a day. So we can start to unpack and unravel it and start to be our own therapist, as Namiyashi puts it. So concentration is developing this sharp, this clarity that makes you not just space out. Much of the day, if we're not having strong emotions, we know we're just spacing out. We don't pay attention. We don't remember 90% of the day. We need to get much more sharp and much more clear and alert. That's what we're trying to accomplish. And altogether, I mean, it brings a lot of contentment to ourselves, not to mention anything else. It gives us the skill to see what's more clear and what's going on in our mind, and then have the ability eventually to change it, to adjust it, to fix our thoughts, because that's what we can learn to do. That's just the day-to-day application of this technique. Of course, long-term, you access these subtler levels of mind that, much more subtle than we posit in modern psychology. So that's it, darling people. Okay, enjoy the rest of the day. For me, it's what time is it? 3:30 in Rome, in Italy. It's a sunny day. The sky's nice and blue. It's a bit chilly out there, of course, because it's winter, but it's pleasant. And I went sightseeing 2 days ago. The Trevi Fountain, the Colosseum, St. Peter's. I've got photos on Facebook. I've never been to those places before, so I had a nice time. Okay, darlings, all of you, happy to meet you all. Happy to meet you. Where are you? Where's she gone? There she is, Tennessee. Happy to meet you, sweetheart. Each morning, someone different leads the meditation. They all do a very nice job. Okay. Okay, sweethearts. See you.